Okay, let's take a little look and see our actual project model, what we're going to do. So here's Florinda Lane. It's the start file. And so the first thing, of course, is to make it my own. So File, Save As. I'll save it with my initials on it. And we're going to create some scenes that we can use later on to show that everything is correct. Here's one sewer line. Here's another sewer line. Here's the utility pad where there are existing electrical and water utilities already. And so if these are within 150 feet, if one of those are, then we're pretty good. And so I'm just going to start making um, create scenes to present the site. So first I want some building pads. Let's go to a top-down view. And remember there's trees over here, trees over here, trees all along here. This area is open and this area is open. So let's put a building pad, and remember the building pads are 30 feet by 20 feet. And just to find out, I want to make something that's got a circumference of 50 feet, or a radius of 50 feet. And let me put it into wireframe so I can see that, hopefully. There we go. Try that again. That one's 53 feet. So there's 50 feet right there. So I need the build my actual building needs to touch or be inside this circle. So let's start here and make something that's like 20 feet wide, comma 30 feet. Oh, so I can put a building right there and that'll work. And then maybe put another one right inside here, 20 feet wide, comma 30 feet. So that's where my building pads can go. Okay, and I meet all of my requirements that way. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what those look like though. Where are those? What can I press pull those up? Let's get this out of here into here. Those are down under the surface. Okay, so I really want to be up on this surface. Let's see if I can do that again. I'm going to just put it right over here and 20 feet, comma 30 feet, and come over here on the face. That's going to hang over a little bit. Let's get it over here a little bit more. $20, comma 30 feet. That one went the wrong way. There we go. And then I can press pull each of those up 1 foot. And that represents my building pad for each one. If I go back to my top view then, I can just do an erase now. That was just a construction line for myself. Okay, and I can label these things. Now I've got my building pads. There we go. Now I can see everything. So I can make a scene that says building pads. Remember how to do that? In scenes, let's go to the scene default tray. If they're not showing for you, I think it's in views, no, window, default tray, show the tray. Now it says hide because mine is being done. Window, default tray, show. Go to scenes, add a scene, create a scene. Okay, and this first one is just going to be my model. So let me rename it model. I've made my model. Let me make a new scene now and call it building pads. And I want to show that I've got my building pads correct. So let me put in some dimensions. 20 feet by 30 feet. And I can put in a dimension from here to here, showing that it's less than 50. And this one is really less than 50, right? Let's see, where do I want to put that? That one's not a very good looking one. Let me see if I can get that to look just a little bit better. Sometimes doesn't do a great job of dimensioning for me. There we go. That's a little easier. I can read that. And so now I know that these are my building pads. This is my utility pad. I can label those. Watch. Go to my label. Click, bring it over here. Utility pad. Building pad. 1. And I'll call this one. Try to get it so it's not too clunky. Building pad 2. Now, as you go through this, you're going to see that those show up when I come over to my plane model. So I need to hide all of those in the model scene. Right click, hide. I'm going to hold the control key down so I can select more than one thing at once. Control and left click. And then right click, hide. So now this scene is back to being clean. It's just my model. As a matter of fact, I could even show this scene maybe in this view. And once I've got it set, I have to update the scene. Now when I come back to my building pads, all this stuff shows up again. And I'm going to do that. I've showed the building pad, the utility pads, nearest existing utility. And I'm just going to write on this one, on the utility pad, existing water, existing electricity, and this one, I don't know which one's closer. Let's find out. I can just do a measure. 139 or 133. It doesn't matter which one I choose, really. I'm not going to go through these. I'm going to go from here to here. So let me go ahead and take from here down to here. And oh, it's not giving that to me very well. See if I can find that midpoint. There we go. Got to just get it out here, 144 feet. Maybe I can go this way. That's a little bit better for me. 144, and then I can tag this one, existing sewer. So now I have a scene. I just clicked outside here. I have a scene that shows me all these. Better go back to my model. I got some stuff that I have to hide again. Right click, hide. Right click, hide. Right click, hide. Right click, update. So now I've made my scenes, and I can make them different if I want. Here's my on-street parking. So I can do a parking one if I want. So let's do on-street parking. So you can see how you can go about doing this. I got to come back over to here and remove that one. Remember, every time you put one in another scene, you have to hide it in the other scenes. Okay, so now I've got this one pretty much ready. I accessed it, I downloaded the file, and I gave it my own name. I'm going to save it. And then I created a scene to present the site and one to present the building pad, utility pad, things like that. And so now I've got a nice model, but it's too big for me to make a physical model out of it. So I need a scaled version of it. To do that, I'm going to make a new copy and shrink it down. File, save as. Now I'm going to save it as something new. And it says use scale factor 0067. So now you see my old one is still saved. All that stuff is in there. I'm actually going to delete all of those things. I don't want all of those anymore in my new file. I'm deleting everything from my file. There we go. And now I can even delete this scene. Down to a good file. Every time you do something good, save it. Okay, now I have to shrink it by a scale factor of 0.0067. Here's how I do it. I highlight everything. I'm just holding my left button down. And then I go to the scale button. Scale. And I go from the far upper corner to the near lower corner. Click. And I type 0.0066666. And it gets tiny. Isn't that cool? Let me zoom in on that thing. Now the problem is it got super squished down flat too. Let's take some measurements. It is now a little over a foot wide and about 24 inches tall. Okay, so I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to tell you it's not very tall, so it's not going to work out. That it's only a 1/4 inch tall. I want my model to end up being like 2 inches tall. So let's do that scale button again and find this middle one and just drag it up, probably to a factor of 8. Now let's see how tall it is. Now it's pretty tall because I was just measuring over here and now I'm over here, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to be okay. See, that's like almost 2. So the whole thing is going to be almost 4. Okay? If I want to bring it up just maybe 4, let's see what that turns out as. Let's highlight the whole thing. Scale about the middle and make it go up 4. Now my thickness over on this end is about 1. So my whole thing is probably about 2. That looks pretty good. That is going to be the one I'm going to make my copy of scaled with scale factor. Save. So that's step 2. Create your SketchUp site model. I've got a full size one and I've got a shrunk down one. There we go.